So while MKT Redline applies to everyone with money in the market and can help protect your money from that, we talk a lot about Forex on this channel. And the reason being is, we'll tell you in just a second. I'm here with Lee. Hey, Lee.
Hey,
We're going to tell them about some Forex stuff. This is going to be fun. Let's do it. So, a quick history lesson. Lee and I became friends. We started talking about this stuff. He started telling me about the Forex market, something I had no idea about. And I learned some really interesting things. And I think you guys will think this is interesting too. So, Lee, you're the expert on this. Tell me why Forex is so interesting.
well, it's the largest market in the world. It literally is. If you add up all the stock markets in all the different countries in the whole world and add them together, they're still smaller than the Forex market. If you add all the bond markets in the whole world, they're still smaller than the Forex market. And that's because the Forex market trades 5 trillion US dollars every day.
That is an outstanding number. And from our discussions, it's become readily apparent that it's so large that it's really hard to manipulate or impossible.
In general, we say that the Forex market is too big to manipulate. And that's why we've built our technology on that market.
And that makes perfect sense because the first time we have a mutual friend, that's how we met. The first time that friend told me about what you were doing, he said, I've got a friend who can predict the stock market. And I said, well, I won't say what I said. And then it wasn't until we met, you told me about Forex, told me about the market. First of all, it made more sense because you're comparing pairs of things as opposed to trying every stock, It just logically made sense that way. But then it was reinforced by all the other things you said. And then I got to see the code, which other people haven't seen out there. And yeah, I was in. I was in from that moment on.
So the thing that makes it a little different with the Forex is it's A versus B. Okay. And that's perfectly suited to hologram type technology. It really likes to do A versus B, especially when you understand that our model has no assumption data at all. All it uses is price data. That's all it's interested in. That's all you need to do this particular type of calculation.
Getting into Forex trading, I always had the impression that it's hard, it's difficult and everything. And this was up until recently when I asked you about it, and you said
it can be really difficult. And one of the challenges around Forex is it's a very, very large market and isn't that difficult to trade if you have the right tooling, if you have the right support, if you know how to trade and you really know about risk management and that kind of things. Because what you have to understand about Forex is you are going to take losses and you have to take losses. You want to take losses. Losses protect you. They protect you in the long run. But, what we have at MKT Redline is we have a lot of tools that really help. MKT Redline Gauge helps us understand when there's likely to be a really big potential change in the markets, a negative market event, and that is dangerous. We need to escape out of that. And then we have MKT Risk Index, which helps us understand the level of volatility, rising, falling, what we could expect, whether we expect dollar strength, yen strength, those kinds of things help us understand our trading pattern. And then, of course, we've got Ghost, which I and you and I, we look at every week here, and we predict where Euro US dollar goes. But actually, we can do 25 different crosses.
So you answer my question as to the difficulty of Forex trading and why it can be difficult. But as far as if somebody wanted to get into trading, it's not that hard to get into Forex trading?
Well, it depends on your which country you're in, what type of trading you're allowed to do. Most Forex is what we call CFDs, which means contract for difference or similar type things. Some countries support it, some countries don't. But basically, all you do is get a broker that supports currency trading, deposit some money, and understand what the risk and rewards are. Also, before you run off doing that, we're not telling you to get into that. There's no advice here. But if you did happen to do it, you could trade currencies relatively quickly and easily, for not a lot of money.
Yeah, and that was pretty crazy for me to find out because I thought there was a massive barrier to entry. So if people are interested in that, do your research, but it's not impossible to do.
You can trade from as little as £500, £200.
But as a reminder, you can still use risk index and a red line for your regular trading too. Works just as well, better than the VIX as far as the risk index goes. And, a market drop is a market drop, whether it's in currency, whatever. A lowering tide lowers all ships as well as a rising tide raising all ships. So that is something that Redline comes in handy for very, very much. So let's switch over and start talking about predictions. How did we do with our last week's prediction?
Okay, well, this is where that word smidgy will come in again. Okay, so what we showed last time was we made a prediction on the 28th. You can see here on the left-hand side a circle, which is we had two potential paths and we said, well, they both kind of come to the same place. And you can see the actual price just hit that bubble there, just touched that bubble there. So I'm calling that a win. It's a flimsy win, but it's a win because it did touch it by a smidgy.
By how much of a smidgy? I always want to know.
I mean, you are talking 2.3 pips. I mean, really very small, 0.00023.
Okay, so yeah, the last time, the original smidgy, you said it was not 0.002, I think. So this is 2.3. We'll call this one a win as well. You're within, was that not 2? That's 2/10,000ths? Yes.
Going into this zone here, or we had going down and coming back up into the zone, and it did actually do that. So would you like to see a prediction for this week?
I would love to see a prediction for this week.
We've got some traditional lines going down here, and we can see Euro US dollar being bounced down in this channel. There is a bottom to this channel which looks like this. And as you can see from MKT Ghost's prediction, I've put this little bubble here. It's suggesting it's going to go hit the bottom of this line down here and then bounce up into this zone around here, which is not very far, really. So what I'm thinking is going to happen is when it's finished doing this, it should go back up to 110, maybe into this zone, mid 110s. That's my prediction. What I don't think it's going to do is carry on and break this line down here at 1.077. I don't think it's going to go past this line. And that is my prediction for next week.
All right. So to summarize that up, our current price, where you think it's going to go down to, where you think it's going to go up to. This is another 2-point prediction then.
Yeah. So I think it's going to go down to 1.08175, make a bounce. And then I think it's going to hit 1.0859-ish, somewhere around there. And then, surprisingly, it's going to fly up by next week. Can't tell you exactly when, but into this zone here, somewhere between 110, maybe as high as 110.5 and 109.3.
That's a 3-point prediction then.
They're harder to do. But, I think if you were a regular trader and you were looking at this, you'd go, yeah, it's going to bounce off here. We've got the flows. We've got the actual flows on screen to show it. It looks like it's going to bounce there. Long wave says it's going to bounce there. Long wave says it's going to go back up. So it's a reasonably healthy prediction.
Yeah, excellent. And a quick explanation, long wave, we talked about this a little while ago. The long waves are part of the algorithm in Ghost that allows you to see further out with your predictions. It gives you lines of resistance. And then you also have the short wave trades, which we use often here in the predictions as well. I just wanted to make the clarification on that.
So Kim, here is a classic long wave prediction, a classic one just to show how it works. We get a particular shape here. We get a spike on this level, and then it takes about 3 or 4 weeks for the price to hit that. And then we see another one up here. And again, in this particular case, a shorter amount of time, but that's how they work. And then when there are no more, like we don't have on our yen, we then expect a bit of a pullback. And wow, look at this. If our yen comes down here, then that's the Australian yen cross. That's like 500 pip drop. Wow. That's a big trade.
That's a
Juicy
big
trade.
juicy trade. You'd be more than quietly pleased about that one.
I would be very, very quietly.
I think that about wraps it up. We discussed Forex market, not as hard to get into as you may think. And please make sure to follow us on Twitter. Lee's going to be posting these predictions on there so you know that we did it in real time, because sometimes it takes us a little bit longer to get the videos out. We can't do it immediately, obviously. And, editing and all that fun stuff. But yeah, make sure you subscribe here, like this video if you did. Hey, we got the prediction right from last week by a smidgy, so like it. Come on, Check out mktredline.com for all the products. We'd love you if you bought some. We really would. We'd give you a hug if we could. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a lot.